Hey everyone, I've got a game to show you which involves a classic sacrifice move which when it works it basically is winning, and it's the Greek gift. I've already made I think one video on this before, but this is so important. It really is something that everyone needs to know at pretty much every level. Okay, so let's go through the game first of all, then we're going to do some analysis and look a little bit deeper into it. Okay, so this game starts with e4. I've got the white pieces. My opponent's rated 1400, okay? And they play the Sicilian, and I play the Wing Gambit against the Sicilian, right? Black here decides not to take the offered pawn, and instead pushes e6 with a discovered defense on this pawn by the bishop. So I grab the pawn because I'm capturing towards the center, and it means that I'm now missing a b pawn, but black is missing a c pawn. Bishop recaptures, and now d4 comes with tempo, kicking the bishop away. So the bishop retreats to b6. Okay, so now I've got a decent level of control over the center, but I'm a little bit behind in development. Bring up my knight to f3, as adding a second defender to the d4 pawn. Black now plays d4, and now I get to push e5. And this is significant because the Greek gift basically involves a bishop sacrifice on h7. Now, all of this, in theory, you could flip it if you're playing as black as well. But the key thing about this move is it takes away this square from black's king's knight. So now the knight cannot come out to this square, all right? So the knight goes to e7, and this is important. And the reason is because if the knight had come here, it would be defending the h7 pawn. But now the knight is not defending the h7 pawn, so he's moved his knight out here in order to be able to castle. Okay, seems very sensible. Now I bring my bishop out to d3, so my bishop is now looking down this diagonal at the h7 pawn. Black now castles, and this is the critical point, okay? And we have the ideal setup really for the Greek gift sacrifice. And the key points are, I've got a bishop on the b1 h7 diagonal, right? That's this diagonal here, which is looking at this pawn. The only piece that can recapture that pawn is the king, and the reason is because the knight's moved here, because the knight couldn't go there because of this pawn, okay? The other key factors are, my knight is on f3, so it's ready to jump into g5 with check if the king recaptures the bishop, okay? The other key point is that when the knight moves, my queen has a direct line of sight to the h file. Okay, so now I play bishop takes h7 check. There are only two legal moves. The king either goes to h8 or he captures the bishop. So the king captures the bishop. Now the knight comes into g5 again with check. Now, if the king retreats here, then we'll have queen to h5 check. King has to go there, then the queen goes to h7 and it's checkmate. If the king comes forward, remember also that this knight is defended by the bishop. King comes forward, it's still pretty bad. The queen comes here and the king has no moves other than to go back there, and again it's going to be queen h7 mate. The only real move that black can play here is king to g6, and that is what is played in the game. Now I play an inaccuracy or mistake. I bring my queen out to g4. So what I'm thinking is that I've got the potential for a discovered check against the king. So if I can play knight takes e6, that attacks the queen and also the rook, and black is in check, and the king will have to retreat to here, okay? Can't go there because of the bishop, can't go there because of the pawn, can't go there because of the queen, all right? So, black now plays knight out to f5, but this really doesn't help. I grab the e6 pawn with a discovered check, and I'm also attacking the queen, and black here resigns the game. Okay, so let's just rewind and review the setup. Okay, king is castled. The knight is not there to defend h7. My knight is on f6 ready to jump in with check on h7. And my queen has, once the knight moves, my queen can go straight onto the h file. Okay. Now this other places where the queen could be, right? But those are the salient points. So let's look at the analysis of the game. Okay, so from here, white has a slight advantage. Castling here is a blunder, as you can see, because this is, well, apparently brilliant move. King takes h7 is an inaccuracy. He should have played king to h8. Okay, king to h7 is +6 for white. King to h8 is still +4 for white, so it's still pretty much winning. Okay, but the king takes that, then the knight comes in with check. That is pretty much forced. Okay, now apparently, yeah, this is a blunder according to the machine. What it wanted me to do was to push the h4 pawn. Okay, and we'll practice this and see why. Okay, so h4 is best, but I play this now. Knight to f5 is a blunder because that's a great move, and it's just going to be winning. Okay, so what you can do at any point when you get to a key position like this, for example. So this is the wrong move, okay? But from here, you can hit the little target icon down in the bottom corner from the analysis board and say practice versus computer. And that will bring up this, okay? So we've got here white to move, bishop takes that, okay? And now, this is Stockfish on the maximum setting. So now Stockfish is saying, this is a 3200 Stockfish, yeah? It's saying, okay, bishop takes h7 is best, king takes h7, and now knight takes here. Knight to g5 check is best, and now I know that h4 is the best move. Okay, so the queen's moved across. So now I'm guessing h5. So if h5, so basically what the queen's done is moved out of range of this knight, okay? So I'm thinking h5 is probably best here. The computer's saying queen to g4 now. It's probably best, so let's play queen to g4. Now the knight comes here and it is a decent move, but now h5 check anyway. Now my knight can move with a discovered check. Excuse me, by the bishop. So I'm guessing I can take either of these pawns. The computer here is saying that knight to e4 is actually the best move. Still winning. So let's play that. Knight to e4. Now the king must retreat. Now it's saying h6. Knight to g5 check is apparently now better for black. Yeah, bringing out this knight is better for black. So h6. I've got a major piece on the g file and the h file. So now he pushes forward, and now I simply have knight to f6 check, wins the queen. Okay, so we lose a pawn there. I can bring my knight back, that defends this pawn, but that pawn's defended by the rook anyway. Okay, so he's attacking my rook. Knight to c7, the computer's telling me that wins another rook. I can just hit this as well, c3, that looks decent. Okay, we drop a pawn there. And that pawn was also defending this move, but I can now go in and grab, oh no, so that's a blunder. Okay, so we can just go back. Alright, so what now? f4. f4 hit the bishop. This is full on attack. Take the bishop. Okay. So now bishop f4. Develop more material. Defend the pawn from the knight. Yeah, bishop f4 is best. This is all completely winning. Queen g5 now. So what am I threatening there? So on the previous move, I couldn't put my queen here. But now I can put my queen to f6 with check. And that's got to be mate, isn't it? h7 check. No, knight has to capture. Knight captures. Now rook takes h7 is what the computer's telling me. Okay, queen takes f7 check, wins the rook. But now knight to d2. Okay, so here Stockfish is training me on how to play this position. Queen takes f8. Let's grab another rook. And it's just all over bar the shouting. Now I can just grab that pawn. Let's defend the bishop and that. Okay. Too little too late. Nothing really can be done here. So I want to get my queen into here. So queen takes g5. No, it's saying bishop b5 now. Oh, knight to f3 is a missed win. Should have played queen to g8 then. Okay, so queen to g8 threatening to... Huh, I don't really get that. But there you go, let's grab another pawn. Just for fun. Let's grab another pawn. Okay, and now... Good check. Oops, nope, can't go there. Let's grab the pawn, attack the bishop. Bishop's now defending this pawn. Bishop's undefended. So... saying queen d8 here. Yep. Now I've got this. And... let's bring the rook here. Take the bishop and throw in a check. The knight now can't move. That would be stalemate, wouldn't it? Yeah? By the look of it. If the rook's here, the knight's pinned, pawn is stuck, and the king can't go there because of the bishop or there because of the queen, so I've got to be a little bit careful here. Let's put bishop here. Okay, and again the knight can move, so I'll just bring in another piece. And what now? Another check. And there. Oh! Oh well. Not too bad. Okay, and we can just push a pawn up now. You know, okay, so this is how you can train it, right? And we can go all the way back to the start of the game, to this point, okay? And we can practice it again. So this is the key thing, practice, practice, practice. You can even change the bot that you're playing against. You don't have to play against Stockfish on maximum setting. You could play against Antonio, right? So let's see how Antonio does. It's taking us back to the start, okay? So after castles, you play against Antonio. See what he does. Okay, now knight in. And we are drilling, 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 okay? And king moving back is just no good because it's now an unstoppable mate. Pretty much. Okay, so now here the knight can block. I say pretty much. Bishop to a3 was best. Oh, I've got a check, look. So again, look, it's training me all the way. Excuse me. Is that good? That's good. Wins the knight. Okay, and you can go back. Yeah, if you make a wrong move, then let's do it again. Right, let's do this. Takes knight in with check. Okay, that's the best move, and now we know h4 is the best move. Okay, he throws in a check, we block the check, we win the bishop, queen comes in. What checks do I have? Got queen here, then which can be blocked by the knight. I've got a check with the pawn. Okay, now I have, so I think before it said knight to e4, didn't it, was the best move. So where can the king go? King can't actually move, so I just need to deliver a check of some kind. Try that one. Okay, now I can grab the rook with check. Okay, so, you know, still completely winning position. So this is what I recommend you do. You can set up that kind of position on the board. You can do it in the analysis board PGM editor, and then say finish against computer from there. But yeah, this is really something that is worth drilling, worth knowing. It's got to be part of your repertoire, because if you ever find yourself in this position, right, castles blunder, right, and bishop takes h7 here is the best move by far, plus 2.9 for white. Anything else isn't even plus 1, right? This is the only move to play, but you've got to be ready to spot it when it arrives. And also, you've got to be very, very careful. If you ever move your knight to here rather than to here, right, watch out for this killer lineup, yeah? Queen can move to there, knight can move to there, bishop can take there, and, you know, if you allow that, you could simply lose pretty much outright, okay? So there you go, guys. Please drill your Greek gift. I need to drill it a little bit more, obviously, as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.